Hello and welcome back to another video. In this problem we're asked, can the graph of y equals f of x intersect a vertical asymptote, and can it intersect a horizontal asymptote? And we're asked to show this through the illustration of graphs. So first, for a vertical asymptote is a vertical line that a function approaches. And we can say as x approaches, and let's say, in this case 5, the value of the function is approaching infinity. Can f of x intersect this asymptote? Well, let's say we have this function, and from the left we have a vertical asymptote, and from the right we can have whatever behavior we want. If we were going to have f of x intersect this asymptote, we'd have to cross this asymptote, and in doing so violate the vertical line test, because in crossing this asymptote it will create some other value of x which has two outputs in the function, and therefore the graph is no longer of a function. For a horizontal asymptote, that means that as x is going off to infinity or negative infinity, the function is approaching a value. Let's say in this case, as x approaches infinity, f of x approaches this value of 4. There's no restriction when we're dealing in values not approaching infinity for the function to cross. If we were to have something like this, this is a perfectly valid function where we are crossing the horizontal asymptote. So for a vertical asymptote, the answer is no, but for a horizontal asymptote, the answer is yes. In part B, we're asked how many horizontal asymptotes can the graph of y equals f of x have, and sketch graphs to illustrate the possibilities. So as I said before, the horizontal asymptotes describe the behavior of a function as it approaches infinity or negative infinity. So we have the limit as x approaches infinity of f of x can equal some value a, where a is going to be the horizontal asymptote, and a limit as x approaches negative infinity of f of x equals b. These are the only two possibilities for a horizontal asymptote for any given function. So a function can have 0 horizontal asymptotes. A function can have 1 horizontal asymptote. And as we've shown before, a function can have 2 horizontal asymptotes. Move it over so we can see it. Something like this, where as we're approaching negative infinity, we are approaching one value, and as approaching positive infinity, we're approaching another. So how many horizontal asymptotes can the graph y equals f of x have? The answer is 2.